Hello and welcome to the Warhammer Rumble. This week we are going to be discussing issue number 6 of the Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol subscription magazine by Hatchet Partworks. This week we have 5 Bob Gaunts. They come on a single sprue, and as you can see, they are push fit. So no glue will be required to put them together. But they have all the fiddly little bits that Tyranids are known for. So, when we are done discussing the magazine, I will go put those together, paint them per the paint schedule here in the magazine, and I will show them to you. As is normal, when we have a new model, we have our build section and our paint section. Then we will have our read sections, where we discuss lore of the Emperor of Mankind, Tyranid High Fleets, and the First Tyrannic War. New model has a collect section for Bob Gaunts, and we have a play section with a new scenario. As you can see, these Bob Gaunts are essentially just 5 or so pieces each, not counting the base. Very easy to put together, and quick. And we have our paint section. We will undercoat and base coat them in Wraithbone. Again, I will use the spray can. We will then highlight their base coats sections in Baraknar Burgundy, and using Wraithbone to correct any overpaints that we do. At the end, this is what they will look like. And we should not forget to paint the Tyranid growths on the relevant model bases. Fine. Next we have our lore section, the Emperor of Mankind. The Emperor is the most powerful psyker to have ever lived. His presence is a light that guides ships through the darkness of the warp, and he is worshipped as a god across the Imperium. It is better to die for the Emperor than to live for yourself. The Emperor sits upon the golden throne. The people of the Imperium think the Emperor is eternal and immortal. The truth is far darker. The Emperor is a mere husk, kept alive by the techno-arcane artifact known as the Golden Throne. Every day, 1,000 psykers must be sacrificed, and their power consumed by the Emperor to keep him alive. Next, we have the High Fleets lore. There is no known Tyranid homeworld. Only vast predatory fleets of biological warships that reach into the galaxy like tendrils of a great kraken. These are the High Fleets, the spearhead of the Tyranid invasion. Individual High Fleets. High Fleet Leviathan is shown here with this diorama, and as you can see, they are colored Wraithbone, base Wraithbone with Baraknar Burgundy as their secondary color. So we are making High Fleet Leviathan versus Ultramarines. Then we have High Fleet Behemoth, which are a black and red. Same models, different color. We got High Fleet Kraken, which is white and red. So, you don't have to paint your models per the painting guide if you don't want to. I am following along and making High Fleet Leviathan. You can choose another paint as you wish. Our next read section, our lore, is on the First Tyrannic War. For millennia, the Imperium was beset on all sides. It was thought that humanity's fate could grow no darker. The First Tyrannic War proved this to be untrue. It was here that the Imperium first encountered the true scale of the Tyranid swarm and a conflict that saw the Ultramarines brought to the brink of destruction. Battle for Macragge, which is the Ultramarines' homeworld. And the first time a Swarm Lord is seen. We then have our Collect section, data on the Barbgons, with their data sheet, which, issue number 3, we had a hard copy of. We then have our Place section, a live fire operation. The Tyranids are on the hunt. Across the ruins of a long-abandoned starship, countless hunter organisms awaken in response to sinister psychic imperatives. It falls to the scattered Space Marines to mount a defense and to hold on to their existing beachhead. Should they fall, their mission may well be lost before it has even begun. So, we're going to use the full squad of Infernus Marines. If you wish, probably replace it with the Sergeant from last week. One of them with the Sergeant from last week. So you'd have 4 Infernus and a Sergeant. And a 4 full unit of Bobguns, which is 5. With the Tyranid swarm mobilizing, the scattered Space Marine forces are desperately trying to consolidate their forces and mount a brutal counteroffensive. The Space Marine reinforcements are vulnerable, and if the Tyranids can reach them on the march, then they will blunt the Space Marine assault before it even begins. We've got our turn breakdown, examples, the fact that 25 attacks could be ranged attacks, 14 ranged attacks, simply based on how the dice are. Our victory conditions, and discusses how to do ranged shooting. For example, if you look here on the Infernus squad, you have a bolt pistol, which has a range of 12 inches. An attack of 1, that means you roll 1 dice. A ballistic score of 3 ups, which means you would hit on a 3 or higher on a dice roll, depending on the toughness of your opponent. You got your save rolls. It's AP 0. It's a strength 4. So if your Bobgrants have a toughness of 4. So because the strength and toughnesses are equal, 3 ups, 3 plus. And the damage is 1. So they do, if the Bobgrants fail, it's safe, it will do 1 damage. Now the Pyroblast, however, also has a 12-inch range, but it does D6 attacks, which means that each of your Infernus Space Marines can do up to 6 attacks per round of combat. You will roll a die 6 for each of them, and that is the number of attacks they get. Ballistic skill is not applicable. Its strength is 5, and its damage is 1. So that is a very nasty weapon. It's a flamethrower. You cannot split your fire. So this unit could only attack this unit or these. This unit could only attack this unit or this unit. They can't attack both. You have to choose one. And if you manage to kill your opponent, wipe out the unit, if you still have attacks left, you don't get to just fire on the next one. You're done. Finally, we have our nice overview and diorama. Our next 2 issues, we get part 1 and 2 of the Tyranid, Termagant Swarm, and Ripper Swarms. These are Rippers, right there. Those are the Ripper Swarm. So, I will probably cover these at the same time. Maybe not. We will see. In any case, I will go put these together and paint them up like High Fleet Leviathan. And I will see you in a bit. All right, there we go. As you can see, they are all painted up. I do need to give a few more coats, especially on this one here, and do some touch-ups in the areas that the spray paint didn't get to, but fortunately these are push fit, which means they come apart and allow me to get at smaller areas. I also worked on the Van Ryan's Leapers and the Winged Tyranid Prime. Now, there is an app by Games Workshop called Citadel Color. They spell it the British way with a U, so it's C-O-L-O-U-R, but it would give you the official colors that are in the various paint schemes for the various models. You can find these Barbgaunts and other Tyranids in that app. The official color for the purple in the app is Nagrath Night, which is not Bracknar Burgundy, which is what we're doing. And in fact, the base color is also not Wraithbone. It's completely different. So we are doing this paint scheme per the paint guides in the magazine, but it is not quite the official paint guide, paint colors that Games Workshop has for High Fleet Leviathan. So the paint was relatively simple. Base and Wraithbone all around. And then you paint the carapace in Bracknar Burgundy, making sure to get the little greeblies. And I actually painted too much of that, but I can go back and fix that. Very simple paint right now because we only have the 3 paints, but it is what we're doing. Next week we get part 1 of our first set of 10 Termagants and a Ripper Swarm. We are going to be getting 2 sets of those. 2 sets for a total of 20 Termagants and 2 Ripper Swarms over the course of this magazine run. So we'll have 5 here and 5 the next week. Due to circumstances, I am not going to be having a video for the next couple weeks. So to make up for that, I'm going to do both issue 7 and issue 8 at the same time to catch up a little bit. And then we'll have issue 9 the following week. So, again, I will base coat them in Wraithbone and paint the carapaces in Bracknar Burgundy, such as these. You're very fiddly. When you're painting them, be very careful. I have actually broken and had to repair one of the claws off the Van Ryan's Leapers, and I believe it's this one. Yes, this one right there. You can actually see, if you look closely, actually see where the break is on that claw, and I've been forced to glue it back together, and you can see that I've got some touching up to do from holding it. Yeah, until you put a finish, a varnish, on the models, you will be constantly touching up as you handle them, because your fingers are going to wear the paint off. But next week, well, not next week, in a couple of weeks, we will have issue 7 and 8 and our 10 termagants and 1 Ripper Swarm. So, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment for any questions or concerns. I will do my best to answer them. And I will see you all in a couple weeks. Later.